On Power 106 FM, I'm Kemoy McEkron. The environmental impact of Christmas celebrations is significant, primarily due to the waste generated from gift packaging, food waste, and decorations. Excessive wrapping paper, plastic packaging, and single use items contribute to a considerable increase in landfill waste during the holiday season. Additionally, large quantities of food are often prepared, leading to unnecessary waste if leftovers are not properly managed. Decorations, particularly those that are not reusable or made from sustainable materials, also contribute to environmental harm. Dr. Susan Otuokon, Strategic Development Officer at the Dean's Office, Faculty of Science and Technology, joins us now to discuss the environmental impact of Christmas celebrations, including waste from gift packaging, food, and decorations, and how to make the holidays more sustainable. Good morning to you, Dr. Otuokon.
Good morning, and thanks for pronouncing my name so well. And just to say, it's Faculty of Science and Technology at the University of the West Indies.
Thank you so very much. With a unique name like mine as well, I can appreciate.
Yes.
We're in a club by ourselves.
That's right.
All right, so we're talking about why you want us to talk about this at Christmas. Why not enjoy all the festivities and enjoyment? Why are you trying to disturb our Christmas at this time? Why should we consider the environment?
Right. So don't be a Grinch about it.
Yes.
And as you say, giving should be at all times of the year, throughout the year. But the fact is that we usually take holidays, we're home, family is probably visiting from abroad. And so there is going to be more stuff happening and just literally more stuff at Christmas. So as I said, you don't have to be a Grinch about it. You can even make games, particularly with the children, about this. You spoke about waste, different types of solid waste, mostly associated with packaging. And the first thing that I want to say, though, is that we do need to encourage our manufacturers to be using less packaging and perhaps to even make it more possible for us to recycle some of this stuff. But whilst we wait on that to happen, the fact is that because there is more at Christmas, more food, there are gifts that you're going to purchase. So you're going to have packaging. It's something we have to deal with. Humans do have an environmental impact. What we need to do is to try to reduce it and also try to see what else we can do to balance out the impact. So in terms of waste, there are the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, so we want to remember those. So first thing is reducing. When you're going shopping, you're going to use more at Christmas. So instead of doing, say, 3 small packages of some type of food product, buy the larger product, buy your gallon, your 5-gallon, because you are going to use more. And here's a way that you can reuse by keeping some of the smaller containers that you would use throughout the year, and you pour out the amount that you would need on a particular day, right? So you're going to use larger packaging by wholesale, etc., because you're going to use more at this time of year. So that's one thing to do in terms of reducing the number and the amount of waste that you would have to throw away. Second thing is that you're going to reuse. So how can we reuse some of these bottles, boxes, and they're always used for these. You can make things. Children are at home at this time of year, and you can keep some of them. And there are lots of ideas on the internet, on TikTok, on all our social media about things that you can do with children. And maybe your school or schools nearby, children's homes, could reuse some of these for children's activities. Lots of fun things you can do. Sometimes the children have more fun with the packaging than the actual toys that you give them.
Let's pause
and then the
there.
final one is recycling.
Before you go there,
make sure you find out where your recycling center is. We're still not where we need to be in Jamaica in terms of recycling, but there are places you can take your PET plastic bottles to. So collect them up and get the children involved. As I said, get them involved to reusing packaging. So, for example, I think it's better to use the gift bags rather than wrapping with the Christmas paper, especially the foils and cellophane types of paper. Use the recyclable plain papers, but if you use Christmas bags, people can reuse them. You can reuse them. And I was saying, make a game out of it. Children sometimes just tear off the packaging. Encourage them to see and make it a game. Who can keep as much of their Christmas wrapping in a form that it can be reused? They can use it to wrap their books and all this sort of thing. So there are lots of things that you can do with waste, and then make sure that you package that waste so that it can be properly collected and taken to our disposal site. Don't just bag it and then dump it in a gully or in an open lot. Don't do that. Make sure it goes to the right place.
And that's a very important point, because outside of what you've mentioned, and we talk about, for example, the most obviously gifts, etc., the issue also is that we have a lot of cleaning up activities. Jamaicans are known for this cleaning up during Christmas. So we take out the old mattress, the old fridge, for example, and we put it outside. So we have that in terms of solid waste as well. You made also another important point. Today we have children with excessive amount of toys, most of which they don't use. We could donate those to the children's home as well. But the idea of what more do we need? Well, we know there more needs to be done. So we are on this path towards recycling, and with the bottles, that's one. But those larger items, etc., what more should you think is needed for to get the society in that mindset, even separation of items?
Well, I know the National Solid Waste Management Authority is trying to do a number of activities, and I've seen some vehicles out throughout the island that collect the big waste, like you said, the fridge and the stove, and even the vehicles that people are leaving. But you might not know that they're coming around, but you can call them and find out, where you can take things to or how you can make arrangements. It's your item, and you need to take responsibility. And of course, if you're getting a new fridge or stove, you can usually get the company or the supplier to take back the old item. But one thing I thought you would have mentioned is Christmas trees.
Yes, I'm coming to it. That was
coming to Christmas trees.
Yes, so let's talk about it. Because sometimes people, they have it in storage for the year. You take it down and you realize, oh, this is last year. I want a white one this year. And they just tossed it out, for example.
Right. So I'm actually going to encourage you to buy Jamaican Christmas trees. A lot of people perhaps think that
is that going to damage the environment?
But they are farmed. So it's not somebody going into the forest and cutting down the forest to produce these Christmas trees. They are actually farmed, grown from scratch by farmers up in the mountains, and the cooler, hilly parts of the island. And it's our very own Jamaican Christmas tree. It has a beautiful Latin name, Q Precious Lusitanica, which I think sounds like Christmas. And it's providing income for our rural farmers. They are usually being grown with other trees, other plants like banana, plantain, even coffee. So they are generally being sustainably grown. Most of those farmers are not using chemical fertilizers. And as they cut and sell, then they are replanting to keep growing. So they are actually a sustainable way to have your Christmas tree. And they smell beautiful. They're very attractive. Of course, if you decide to use your plastic trees, I mean, maybe you could spray paint if this is not the color of the season. And then at the end of the day, though, you are going to throw away things. Let's not stress about it. Let's just make sure that either we pass it on to somebody else, maybe their children's homes or hospitals where people are going to be over the Christmas, and it could brighten their day to give them the things that you would otherwise throw out. So if you're going to upgrade your
TV.
plastic Christmas tree, you could think about that instead of throwing it out. And there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of need, and we could certainly help. And it's the time for giving.
Yes, let's talk about in this context though, because it's not just at Christmas. We have an issue societal that we're trying to work on in getting persons to responsibly dispose of garbage. We still see when we drive on the road, persons throwing things from cars. We still see people walking on the roads and just disposing of it. Children, adults, everyone just dropping it. And I often wonder, where do you think it goes? It doesn't have feet to walk, to go to the bin, especially when it comes onto the cars. I cannot understand why persons can't take it along with them. You're going home or wherever you're going, there's going to be a bin. What is so bad about it traveling in your car? Why do you need to toss it through the window?
Yeah. We have developed, and I think it's something we have developed. I don't think it was there all the time. I think it's getting worse. Whereby we drink the drink from the bottle, but now all of a sudden the bottle becomes garbage and something disgusting. All you need to do is put it somewhere in the vehicle. If you don't have a cup holder available, close it up, leave it in the car until you reach somewhere that you can dispose of it properly, so that it goes to the correct place at our waste centers. And I'm calling them waste centers rather than garbage dump, because I know that the Solid Waste Management Authority is trying to manage our solid waste better, and we need to play our part as citizens. We tend to have this attitude that, it's government problem, government must take care of it, people are being paid to clean up. But we can see there's not enough people cleaning up after us. And as you say, just keep it. You ate food out of this packaging. Why is it now something that you cannot keep for a couple of hours until you get somewhere that you can dispose of it properly?
All right, we're going to take the break now, and we come back after the break to continue our discussion segment. Stay with us, listeners, right here on the Morning Agenda on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
8:45.
It's the season for good cheer, and the management and staff at Wellington Dental wish all our faithful customers a peaceful and safe holiday season as we continue to help you maintain healthy and beautiful smiles. Telephone 749-3515 or 413-3691. Merry Christmas and a happy and exciting New Year. Alternative Power Sources wish all Jamaicans a happy Christmas and a productive New Year. Thank you for your invaluable support over the past year. For environmentally silent solar power solutions, make it Alternative Power Sources. For Stratton Avenue, Kingston 10. Authorized distributors for premium brand names like BP Solar, Southwest Wind Power, and Trojan, etc. Call 876-960-4886 or 876-527-9982. Happy holidays.
Welcome back to the Morning Agenda right here on Power 106 FM. I'm Kemoy McEkron. We continue our discussion now. We're speaking with Dr. Susan Otuokon, Strategic Development Officer at the Dean's Office of the Faculty of Science and Technology at the UWI Mono. And we continue to talk about environmental impact of Christmas and the increased use of waste, the increase of waste coming from Christmas celebrations. Let us go now to the issue of food. That is something that is very, 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 very on the table. A lot of food prepared during Christmas, and as much as how most of us think that we can eat so much of it, we eventually get rid of a lot of it because after New Year's Day, you can't continue to have that food from December 25. Well, certainly not in my house. So let's talk about that in the context of composting. That is something that traditionally For some persons who, when you used to go to the country or grew up in the country, you'd see your grandmother throwing the things at the banana tree and stuff. Jamaicans was move more into the cities and we don't have trees, etc. And that's not something that we're doing. And I'm not seeing a national push towards that either. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, I have lived in an apartment complex, and most apartment and townhouse complexes have green spaces and an area where they could easily make a compost, and some of the tree cuttings and the leaves and so on would go into that area. So it is pretty easy to have such a place. Just means that you're going to have to get a little exercise, which you especially need at Christmas time with all the food. But throughout the year, just take the walk to the compost area, and you're going to put into that the food waste that is biodegradable. So, your carrot and potato peels, your onion skin, and all your vegetable and fruit waste, coffee grounds, tea bags. You don't want to put in there, though, any leftover Christmas pudding, sweet potato pudding, and meat and so on, because that's going to attract rats and other animals that would consume these things and become pets. So one of the things I really think we need to do, and when we were talking about the waste that people throw from their cars, we need to develop a different culture, a better culture, a culture that is considerate of other people and ourselves. So why throw the garbage out for it to look unappealing, unattractive, and to attract instead vermin and pests? What we need to do is to teach our children that you don't, or teach people from their children, you don't have to pile up your plate. When you're at home with your family and you're dishing the food, or you go to the buffet table, just take enough and go back for seconds. I know some people are going to say, oh, other people are going to take all the food and they're not going to have enough seconds. But, sometimes we say that our eyes are bigger than our bellies. Mm-hmm. We need to be conscious of that. How much can we actually eat? And make sure that we are responsible about that. And yes, we know that we want to have a little bit more, to serve people. But as you said, the cooked food can only last for a certain amount of time, even in the fridge. But you can also look at freezing the food earlier for it to last longer. But I think the main thing is to look at how we put the food on our plate, because it's really, once it goes on the plate, you can't necessarily use it again after that, after somebody has been eating from that plate. So we want to control and manage and teach people that from a young age, that we don't have to eat everything, pile up our plate at one time and don't eat everything. And, my mother always used to tell me that I must make sure that I eat everything on my plate, because there are starving children in this country or that country. The fact is, there are starving children right here in Jamaica. Yes. So we need to be conscious and think about others. And really, that's what the season is about, giving and thinking about others and trying to extend that throughout the year, to be much more conscious about how we take care of our environment, including people, those around us.
Yes. That's the beauty about culture. When we listen to each other speak, we think we all grew up in the same household. We all have heard the story about the starving children in Africa. But let us move now to disposal of lights. That's another thing that is plentiful at Christmas. So you have taken down the Christmas lights. A few of them no longer working. You no longer want that, as well as other electronic devices. You may need to throw out the old cell phone because you got a new one for Christmas, etc. Talk to us a little bit about how we dispose of electronic waste.
Right, that's an important one. And unfortunately, I don't have any of the numbers that one should call, but I believe that through the National Environment and Planning Agency or the National Solid Waste Management Authority, if you give them a call, look them up online and give them a call, or they might even have information on their website, because the last time I had a bunch of batteries, and you can keep these things for a little time until you find out exactly where to dispose of them. You know, you can make a little collection, because you might have to travel somewhere to discard them or to dispose of them, because there are companies that are taking apart these things and making use of the items that are recyclable. So I know that, especially recently, a number of people have started businesses like that. So, you know, you might have to do a little research, but especially if you have children who are tech savvy, they can, you know, check out online and find out where. And as I said, the National Environment and Planning Agency and the National Solid Waste Management Authority have quite a bit of information. And then I think the biggest thing too is just to make sure that at least the waste is not being discarded on our streets and in our gullies. Those are just not appropriate at all.
Yes, certainly. The other issue now, we've touched on gifts, we've touched on food and the decorations and the electronic waste. I think we have covered the major areas. Just remind our listeners, as you go, the 3 R's in terms of what they're supposed to do as they go throughout this Christmas holiday in terms of their waste.
And then making it a pledge for the new year to do better, to reduce your environmental impact.
Yes.
And as I said, make it fun. So the 3 R's, and you just carry this throughout the year, but start at Christmas, reduce the amount of waste that you are creating. I've heard of people leaving the packaging behind at the store. Then the store has to speak to the manufacturer and say, you really need to reduce the amount of packaging. And also there are ways that you can then reuse the packaging. There are lots of art and craft activities that can be done. And you might not have children, but there are lots of schools and children's homes and so on who would love to have these materials. Some of the polystyrene, foam, etc., that packages things can be reused to make into something new. And then, of course, recycling. And we need to lobby for more of this to be happening. And we need to find out, because there are a number of places that are doing recycling. You need to find out where they are and collect your items and go take them to the various centers and buy your Jamaican Christmas tree.
Thank you so much, Dr. Susan Otuokon, Strategic Development Officer at the Dean's Office, Faculty of Science and Technology at UWI Mono, for joining us right here on the Morning Agenda on Power 106 FM, sharing very useful tips for reducing our environmental waste as we continue throughout the Christmas holiday season. And as she indicated there, a pledge towards the new year to reduce our footprint in terms of our impact on the environment. That's the program for this morning. I'll be back with you tomorrow to take your calls. Please remember, listeners, that our phone lines are back. And so tomorrow I look forward to your agenda to take your calls, your comments, your questions on the WhatsApp line as well. Looking forward to spending that time with you. Of course, as you go throughout the day, as you continue to prepare for your Christmas holidays, I encourage you to be safe and to take very good care of yourself. Don't worry about today's Thursday. Today should be probably payday. As you go out to shop, remember the safety tips that the police put out. Be safe on the roads, and also remember your neighbor. Give a look out, and also remember the reason for the season. Be kind. Whatever you have can share. If you only have one bread, you can put it in half or a quarter and give someone else who is in need. Remember the less fortunate as you go throughout the season. It's not always about accumulating all that we can get at Christmas. Remember as well that there are others without. And the greatest gift this season is your presence, and not so much that's presence with CE rather than the TS. And so let us not focus so much on what we can get, but also what we can give. And remember to be kind as well to your neighbors. All right, that's the program for this morning. All that is left for me to do is thank our producer, Akelia Moore, as well as our technical operators, Shandell Forbes and Davin Thomas. Of course, Real Business is up next on Power 106 FM. I'm Kemoy McEkron. Do have yourselves a great day.